good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my brilliant Sussex squadron. Gather close, pour your tea, and lean into the firelight, because today's tale is one that rattles the echo chambers of the British press and cuts through years of false headlines like a blade of truth. It's a story about perception versus reality, rumour versus achievement, and narrative versus fact. At the heart of it all, we find Meghan Sussex, once branded by the tabloids as the woman who would never survive outside the royal machine, standing triumphant, her voice intact, her influence unshaken, and her creativity flourishing. And who delivers this revelation? None other than Jennie Bond, a former royal correspondent, someone who spent decades defending the institution of monarchy, someone the British press would never label as a Sussex sympathiser. On GB News of all places, Bond stunned audiences by admitting that Meghan Sussex has, in fact, won, that the endless headlines proclaiming her career dead in the water were nothing but smoke and mirrors, that the same media which claimed to dismiss her has only amplified her relevance, tracking her every move, analysing her every project, and proving, ironically, that they cannot look away. This is not just a commentary on Meghan Sussex's career, it is a masterclass in resilience. It is the story of how a woman who was told she was finished, who was mocked as a failed actress, and dismissed as a Netflix flop, now stands at the helm of new projects, joyful, diverse, and deeply creative. Her work is not built on borrowed tradition or gilded symbolism, but on storytelling, connection, and substance. And the fact that Jennie Bond herself, a representative of the old guard, has admitted it, speaks volumes. Let us take a deeper dive into what Jennie Bond revealed and why it matters. The false narrative of failure. For years, the media has peddled a convenient story that Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry, once they left the palace, were destined to crumble. Every contract, every project, every public appearance was scrutinised with the magnifying glass of negativity. When Meghan Sussex signed her deal with Netflix, the media declared it doomed before a single frame was filmed. When the Spotify partnership ended, the tabloids screamed disaster, conveniently ignoring the shifting tides of the streaming industry that affected countless creators. But what does Jennie Bond remind us? That this narrative of failure was never grounded in truth. That Meghan Sussex's deal with Netflix was not dead in the water, but alive and evolving. That her career was not over, but rather just beginning to unfold on her terms. The irony is that the press never stopped watching her. If she was supposedly irrelevant, why did every newspaper, every tabloid, and every talk show continue to obsess over her? Why did her name appear in headlines daily? Why was she constantly compared to other royals? Because, whether they admitted it or not, Meghan Sussex remained magnetic. Jennie Bond listed Meghan Sussex's upcoming projects, and, well, each one tells a story about creativity, versatility, and, honestly, joy. First up, there's the lifestyle show, described as perfectly pleasant, filled with joy, warmth, and just a bit of cookery. This isn't Meghan Sussex bowing to scandal-driven narratives. Nope, this is Meghan Sussex reclaiming her platform, creating content that highlights positivity rather than controversy. It's refreshing, it's real, and it shows that she understands something the monarchy often forgets. People want relatability. Next comes the Christmas special, decking the halls, sharing traditions, weaving in stories of family, celebration, and togetherness. Just imagine the contrast. While certain royals are, forced to reenact the same stiff photo ops by a decorated Christmas tree in Windsor, Meghan Sussex's special will invite viewers into a world of authenticity. Laughter, food, love. It's content that resonates not because it's staged, but because it feels alive. And then, perhaps most intriguing, there's the Ugandan documentary, where Harry appears not as the central figure, but as one of many producers. This alone kind of dismantles the lie that Meghan Sussex and Harry are attention-seeking. Here is a project focused not on their celebrity, but on global storytelling, on amplifying voices that really deserve to be heard. It's proof that they aren't clinging to fame. They're using it as a tool for something larger. Each of these projects represents something the monarchy struggles with, relevance in the modern age. While other royals recycle charity photo ops, cutting ribbons, planting trees, attending galas, Meghan Sussex builds a body of work that can reach millions across the globe. Perhaps the most delicious irony in Jennie Bond's remarks is this: the same media that insists nobody cares about Meghan Sussex continues to obsess over her. Every project is scrutinised, every rumour amplified, every move tracked. If nobody cared, the tabloids would not dedicate endless column inches to her. If she was irrelevant, talk shows would not spend airtime dissecting her actions. The truth is undeniable. Meghan, Sussex and Harry remain central figures in the global conversation. And that is not because of royal titles, but because of their choices, their projects, and their ability to command attention on their own terms. Jennie Bond, whether intentionally or not, admitted that Meghan Sussex has won. She has outlasted the smear campaigns, outmaneuvered the critics, and carved out a career defined not by palace protocols, but by creative independence. Let us step back for a moment and compare. On one side, we see Meghan Sussex, developing shows, producing documentaries, experimenting with storytelling that brings joy and diversity. On the other side, we see the monarchy, repeating rituals that no longer inspire, leaning on tradition while struggling to find modern purpose. Which path seems more enduring? Which path feels more human? The monarchy is an institution trapped in repetition, while Meghan Sussex represents evolution. She is not bound by a golden cage. She is not limited to pre-written speeches or carefully managed photo ops. She has the freedom to create, to speak, to explore. That freedom, once painted as her downfall, is now her triumph. And here lies the brilliance of Jennie Bond's admission. By defending Meghan Sussex on GB News, a platform notorious for fueling anti-Sussex rhetoric, she inadvertently validated Meghan Sussex's success. When critics from outside the Sussex camp begin to acknowledge reality, it signals a shift. It suggests that the narrative of Meghan Sussex's failure is no longer sustainable. It is not Meghan Sussex who needs to prove herself. It is the media that must reckon with its obsession, its double standards, and its inability to let go. So, my brilliant Sussex squadron, what can we learn from this tale? That resilience is not about never being attacked. It's about refusing to be defined by the attacks. That victory is not about silencing critics, but about thriving despite them. And that the truest measure of influence is not the volume of your detractors, but the persistence of your impact. Meghan Sussex, once declared finished by the press, now stands at the helm of a vibrant creative career. She has shows in production, documentaries in the works, and an audience that continues to grow. She has not only survived the storm, she has redirected its winds to power her own sails. And the most ironic twist of all, her so-called critics cannot stop proving her relevance. Every headline they write, every rumor they spread, every defensive commentary they make is an admission of defeat. Because if Meghan Sussex had truly lost, they would not still be talking about her. Jennie Bond's words, perhaps unwittingly, crystallized the truth. Meghan Sussex has already won. Not because of a crown, not because of titles, but because of authenticity, creativity, and resilience. Her legacy will not be built on stiff portraits or ceremonial ribbons, but on stories, on projects, on the lives she continues to touch. And so, my friends, as we sip the last drops of our tea, let us recognize the victory of Meghan Sussex for what it is. A triumph not just for her, but for anyone who has ever been told they cannot rise, only to soar higher than ever imagined. The golden drapery of illusion has been pulled aside, and what remains is truth. Meghan Sussex is not just surviving, she is thriving, and that, my brilliant Sussex squadron, is the sweetest victory of all.